Hey, you summoned a lesser maker. I have a real love for build challenges. I was watching a YouTube video by Tina Fielding. That's my daughter's favorite YouTube creator right now. She has a build challenge to make a stomping tower, and it's for her homebrew world, the Hazelands. So we're going to be making our own today with her STL. So if you want that and you'd like to make your own, you can find a link to her Patreon where you can download that for free, which I think is cool.
Tribal Industries is also a huge inspiration for this project, so go check them out on Instagram. There are these creatures in Voyage of the Dawn Treader, it's one of the Narnia books, who are one-footed and invisible. I would think that's one of the inspirations for this type of creature, and I think any logical person would start working from the foundation up. So I slotted in a bit of foam, and I'm going to keep them separate until I got more of the building done. That way it's easier to lay flat while I'm working on it. I started with a platform so that this creature could kneel and anyone who would like to ride the tower could get on, and stairs to get up to the main tower. I mocked up the shape of the tower pretty quickly, and I kind of just started gluing everything together. I'm going to be doing some thatched roofs later, so I'm making these roofs really steep because the thatch is going to add a lot of volume, and I don't want this to look too bulky. I'm adding a second tower on top of the main living area. This is inspired by the burrow in the Harry Potter movies. I wanted a really spindly roof on top, so I cut up a really thin arrow shape, and I made 4 of those. I glued each tip together, and then I just met the material in the middle. Again, I'm going to be adding thatch to this, and I didn't want it to be too bulky, so I made it a really delicate, thin shape. Once I have the basic shape that I like, I decided to glue everything together, working from the bottom up, and then it's basically ready for detailing. I do that with popsicle sticks. To make them not look like popsicle sticks, I use a hobby knife to 45 degree both sides of the popsicle. The material breaks and shatters on its own, allowing each one to be unique. I punched the bricks of the foundation using an old paintbrush that I've crimped the soft metal into a rectangle. This is the fastest method that I've found to make bricks, and it's a lot faster than laying each one individually. And I think it's really close, if not better, of a result. You're going to be seeing some 3D printed bits on here like windows, hanging signs, and those are free STLs that are on my Patreon. It's called the Building Accessories Pack. I usually play Mordheim and make Mordheim terrain on this channel, and that's a completely free game. So I like to pay that forward and give you guys the access to these files to create your own stuff. If you're interested in that, you can go check out my Patreon and download that stuff. Everything over there is free, so feel free to window shop. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I answer every comment, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down there. Right now I'm doing the thatched roof, and I'm using jute rope from the Dollar Tree, and I'm cutting it into wefts, kind of organizing it into kind of flat strips, and then hot gluing them in place. This does take a while, but the end result is definitely worth it. The top back corner of the roof was really hard to get to, so I glued a bunch of these in a row on a popsicle stick, then glued that whole popsicle stick into that back corner, to make it a bit easier on myself. I thought this top roof would be time consuming, but honestly, it went really fast. The farther I went onto it, the less surface area there was to cover. So before I knew it, it was finished. By the time I got to the other smaller roofs, I was really finished with this technique, and I wanted to add a bit of variety anyway, so I just went with popsicle sticks again and just planked them. After that, we were done building, and I primed this in a dark brown, and we're ready to paint.
I find that wood is hardly, especially aged wood, is hardly ever brown. It's more like a bluish gray. So that's kind of what I've gone for here when mixing this color. And you can see that my palette is not one color, it's several. So if I want it to be more green, I grab a little green, I grab a little brown, I grab a little white, and it's mixed together on my brush. So when I streak it, it's adding a wood grain automatically.
I don't think you necessarily need to.
Okay, so the stone is a lot like the wood. I kind of try to, I mean, there is stone that is gray, but I tend to like it more of a tannish brown color, because the more reference photos I look at, the more I see really old buildings look like this, and so I just kind of replicate that a bit. So I'm mixing up a color for an oxidized brass, think like Statue of Liberty. Yeah, so all my gargoyles, windows, metal architectural features, I always just do that one color to keep it simple. Those are probably the most detailed parts of this build. So painting them a really bright color allows them to steal the show and hide any mistakes that kind of fade in the background. All right, I think that's everything. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys following along. If you'd like to try it out, this build yourself, Tina Fielding's channel has the free STL and the whole build guide on her channel. Let me know what you would do differently, because this is a really cool thing to tackle. It's really unique and I really like it. If you'd like to help support the channel, Patreon's only $2 a month, and everything over there is free. So you don't need to pay or anything. Just Windows Shop, download what you like. And if you find value in it in these weekly videos, feel free to support the channel. All right, I think I've rambled off enough. Have a good one.